Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Paul Gabala with WQOX 88.5, and we are here for the post-season press conference. And so many good things to talk about. The Central Lady Warriors, runner-ups in Class 3A, falling just short to the #1 team in the nation. And then, of course, the East High boys, the Mustangs, winning their second straight 3A title. To start things off, I introduce the athletic manager for the SCIAA, Ms. India Weaver. India?
Thank you, Paul. Again, welcome, welcome. We're so very proud of each and every one of these particular teams here today. And we want to kick it off with the Central Lady Warriors. The principal is Greg McCullough, the athletic director, Ricky Benjamin, and the head coach, Coach Haynes. Coach Haynes, please introduce your table.
To my right here, I have Brianna Cooks. Beside her is Jaira Washington. Beside her is Kennedy Kirkendall. Beside Kennedy is Janae Stewart. Beside Janae is Bianca Massey. And on the very far end is Ariel Lane.
Questions may now begin.
All righty, I'd like to ask the first question, and this to Coach Haynes. It certainly proved that girls basketball here in West Tennessee, and specifically from Shelby County schools, can match the best in the nation, and you proved that on that Saturday afternoon in Murfreesboro. Comment a little bit about the talent level of the teams here as opposed to some of them across the state.
When you think about girls basketball, generally Middle Tennessee is often referred to as their capital because they have kind of monopolized it over the years. Memphis has so many different schools throughout that the talent is spread throughout. But we came together, we've been together for a while, so we're trying to gel and mold to become that monopoly or that program that represents West Tennessee.
Okay.
I have a question. Coach Haynes, I was at that basketball game, and it was a pretty exciting game. And there was a point in the game against Riverdale, which was touted to be the #1 team in the nation, that they were actually holding the ball. And so in my regards, I was like, oh, they scared when you hold the ball. So what were you all thinking in that moment at that time?
At that point in the game, I knew that strategy kind of indicated that they had experienced some things that they hadn't experienced before, because normally they had blown teams out and the games hadn't been that close, which was kind of one of the factors that kind of changed the dynamic of the game at that point in the game. But, we wanted to identify who we were as a team, and that kind of changed the dynamic when they began to stall the ball. So that was one of the turning points, which let me know that if they're the #1 ranked team in the country, how good are we actually?
You guys graduate just one senior, so you have pretty much everyone coming back to have that kind of game against the #1 team in the nation. What kind of confidence does that give you for next year and early preparation getting to play that high level of a game to end this season going into next? And we can start with you and then hear from a couple of the girls.
It's a great confidence builder, but in this city, nothing's ever guaranteed. So you never know. And I hope that we have loyalty in those my players return. And we're looking forward. We've been there before. We know what it takes, and we just got to begin to put that body of work in to be the champions for next year.
We prepared very well this year to make it that far, but this year coming up to next year, we need to train more mentally than physically, because the things that we endured the championship game, if we were more prepared mentally, we would have been able to conquer those.
As a senior and I'm leaving, I hope to see them grow more together and to execute how they can and how they should, and to bring home a gold ball next year. And because they deserve it, they're a real good group of girls. They taught me a lot this year, and I appreciate them very much. So I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready for the next level just from playing with them and from experiencing that game. I'm ready.
I had a question, and it goes back, and it really we could talk about the next season with this, but the team you played certainly had the size on you guys. I mean, almost every position was a bigger size. I want to ask, Jeriah, if you would sort of comment on how you were able to compensate on that of playing teams with a bigger size like that. And I mean, they banged the boards pretty well as well. I know that.
I really didn't too much pay attention to the size. I mean, we had to go out and play to the best of our ability. Who we playing against, it doesn't matter how big or small or that. We just have to go out there, win, and play with.
Anybody else on that? Playing a team with much more size?
We really didn't pay attention to the size. We just got to play up and execute the way that we capable of playing. Even though that was bigger than us, we still have our advantages as being small and athletic.
You know, you guys are certainly growing. We could see that last year, and I remember a couple of you guys came in and talked to us on the radio station and said, you know, we have to, last year you went one step. This year you went all the way to the state championship game, and you said our adjustment this year was really to feel comfortable with the arena itself because it's so much different than playing in a high school gymnasium. So I guess my next question is, and the coach and some of the players, if you would like to comment on this, what do you think are the next steps to take that final step and give Central another championship next year?
We pretty much train and do what we did this year, prepare mentally and physically, and going to state 2 times in a row. Really, you get more comfortable with the gym as you keep going. You know, you've been there before, and you know what it takes to get back.
I think, it's the same thing as playing at home. Being in Middle Tennessee probably brought like a lot of jitterbugs, or you probably be a little nervous. But for that being my second time going to state, it was just another time for me to be able to want to win state. And next year, I believe that we're still able to win it because we're almost there. It just take a lot of body of work.
I got a question. It's off season, and Coach, I know sometimes, when the season is over with, some players get a little lazy and fall off. What are you all that's coming back? What are y'all looking to do? Because I know y'all got that taste of wanting to get back and win a championship. When do you all start preparing for next year?
Now, it starts now. Even when the season ends, we're still supposed to work. There's no days off, so it starts now.
In the summer, I use summer ball, exposure ball to get my name out, but I also use it to work on things that I wasn't so comfortable doing during the season. So doing that during the summer, when you work, say me for instance, when you work for something that people doubt you or you can't do well, you do that, then come back next season, you're good at that, plus the things that you've already been doing, what can they do?
Go ahead, Coach.
And we generally take a season, we look at it, we evaluate it, we assess it, and we say, here's our strengths, here are our weaknesses. And the things that we can control, we do that. But we know from the past season, these are the things as individuals that we have to work on. We're going to work on our craft to become better so that when we're faced with situations that we're not comfortable with, we're able to perform at a better rate.
Second straight appearance in the state finals. Coach, how difficult is that to get there? People are taking it maybe for granted that all Central girls are back in there, but how difficult is it just to get to Murfreesboro?
I don't think people took it for granted because we were counted out early.
True, that's true.
We were counted out early. But we take that experience from the season before, being a very young team, having freshmen and sophomores. And so we take that experience, and we use it to our advantage. Like we said, we go back and reevaluate the season and assess it, and we just try and get better and control all the things that we can control. We may come out of the locker room at a disadvantage at height, but we're going to outwork you. It's no reason we should ever leave the floor where we get outworked. And if we're consistent at what we're doing, we're playing hard and playing smart, I think we can play with any team in the country. And that was an indicator in the championship game.
Houston also showing up in Murfreesboro. You guys representing the city of Memphis. White Station was a fantastic team this year. A lot of solid girls basketball talent. This year it was you. You hope it continues to be you. But what is it about the city of Memphis that continues to kind of breed high-level talent both in boys and girls basketball?
First of all, we have so many schools, and the talent is spread out. When you look at Middle Tennessee, you have maybe 2 dominant schools in Murfreesboro, Stewart's Creek, and Riverdale. So they tend to flock to those 2 schools. Within our school system, the talent is spread out. And it's, kind of no dominating program here, which is kind of good for the city. So next year, it may be another team up here representing the city. So, with the talent spread out, it challenges you as individuals and as a team in the program to work at a level. And we've been there, so we got to work at that level to make sure we can attain that and get our goals throughout the season.
Thank you, Central Warriors. Up next, we'll have the East Mustangs. We have the East Mustangs, Principal Dr. Hilliard, Athletic Director Marcus Wimberly, Head Coach Robert Jackson. Coach Jackson, will you please introduce your table?
Yeah, I'm Coach Rocky Jackson, the head coach of the Memphis East Mustangs. This is Antavian Collum, a sophomore. Chandler Lawson, a sophomore. Malcolm Dandridge, a sophomore. Alex Lomax, a junior. T.J. Moss, a junior. And Jaden Hardaway, a senior. And our lovely principal, Dr. Marilyn P. Hilliard.
Questions may now begin.
Coach Jackson, I hardly can see you behind that gold ball there, but that's okay. How satisfying was it, and was it even sweeter to win the second one than last year?
Yeah, it was a lot sweeter winning this one, I think, than last year. Even though last year was our first one, it was a lot sweeter just because of all the obstacles and all of the tension and the resistance we received this year, throughout the season. And to play a national schedule and play on the level that we played for an entire season, it was a lot sweeter winning this one.
Only one senior out here. All the other guys are underclassmen. I want to ask senior Mr. Hardaway there, are you hoping for another year so you can win another state title?
Well, since my last year here, I mean, I'm not going to be able to come back next year, but I hope these guys stay together, you know, keep that bond, keep playing together so they can come back and win another state title.
Coach, I'm Julian Atkins, one of the student broadcasters for 88.5, current student alumni of Overton High School. You guys have had some stiff tests this season, but you guys have only lost 3 games, but the 3 losses that you guys had weren't in the state of Tennessee. How do you explain having some stiff tests this year and still remaining perfect?
I mean, that's the reason why at the beginning of the year when me and Penny talked, we wanted to make sure that we put this team out. We knew we were going to have a great team, but the only way, you know, to measure the level of play that we were at this year was to play against talent that we felt like was on that level or was going to challenge us and make us better. And one of the goals that we set out at the beginning of the year was to play the toughest schedule that we could because we wanted to go out, measure ourselves against those teams, and we knew if we went out there and held our own with those teams when we got back to Memphis, then we were going to be able to hold our own here in this state of Tennessee. So that was really our goal, you know, kind of that thing where you set the bar and you say, hey, if I can play on this level, then I know the level that I'm required to play at, then that's going to be a breeze for us. So that's really what we want to go out and do. And to give these guys a chance to play on the national level to get that exposure, because a lot of times you don't get that exposure just playing within the state.
Chandler, you were named MVP. I have a question for you. What was the difference in the chemistry of this year's team compared to last year? If there was any.
It wasn't. It was like this team, like we just play off of each other. And I just play my role and just let the game come to me.
Back-to-back titles for you guys, but for East as a whole, a state record 8. You guys are part of a pretty big legacy here in the city of Memphis. For the players, what does getting to be a part of East basketball mean to each of you? Whoever wants it.
Well, I mean, when we started the season off, Penny always said, make this like a legacy. Like it's gonna go down in history. So, I mean, for our name to be in history, it's a good thing. What was the question?
What does it mean to be a part of this legacy? East High legacy with a state championship?
It's a blessing because it's nothing I've been through before, and Penny just put us through a lot. It's a sacrifice throughout the city and people who've been doubting us throughout the whole year. We just hope they got the 2 gold balls.
It feels great to be a part of this East High legacy, winning 2 states back to back. Me winning them young, and we having a young team. We're probably gonna have like 3 or 4 rings by the time we graduate. So, yeah.
It feels great to be a part of this legacy because there's been a lot of great players to come through East, and for our names to be up there, considered with theirs, it means a lot. And we can one day tell our grandkids about these memories. When they tell our grandkids about these memories, and then we just have fun moments, and it'll be a moment to remember. Even when we get older, we'll have moments to remember with each other.
Just what it means to be a part of the East basketball legacy, back-to-back for you guys, but 8 total.
It's a great feeling to just be a part of this and have this great legacy.
Yeah, it's a blessing and honor just to see all of our hard work pay off, and just hopefully these guys keep on making history.
And then, Coach, both years you've beaten a Memphis team. What does that speak to the level of talent here in this city and how it continues to grow?
I think the Middle Tennessee and the East Tennessee teams really hate to see us come up there. I mean, they know 2 teams from this area are going to make it every year, and I think that's pretty tough for them because, like I say in every interview I've done in the 3 years I've been coaching, West Tennessee, the best basketball comes out of West Tennessee. I mean, we're more physical down here, more aggressive. these kids really take basketball serious in this area. And, you know, that's an attestament to that, the past 2 years that we've been in the state championship. It's been a, you know, all Memphis final. And I remind everybody, my first year coaching, we lost to Brentwood in the semifinal game, which would have been another all Memphis final if we could have gotten past Brentwood my first year coaching. It would have been us and Hamilton in the final. So that was possibly 3 all Memphis finals, 3 consecutive years. I mean, that says a lot about this area.
But is it Coach Jackson, is it just talent? Is it coaching? Is it something else? Because it's so consistent, especially with Class 3A. I mean, we've owned Class 3A for a long, long time.
Right. Man, it's a mix of both, man. I mean, we get guys coming in the 9th grade, you know, who have big names, have done great things on the middle school level. But like me and Penny always tell the guys, I mean, when they come in, whatever you did in middle school, it don't mean nothing once you get to this level. You gotta keep working. You gotta stay hungry. You gotta recommit yourself to the game because, man, I played basketball here in Memphis. Man, I saw a lot of guys come through who were ranked number 3 point guard in the nation and stuff in my class, and then by the time we were seniors, nobody even remember who they were. So, you know, that says a lot because, I mean, you know, you have guys that grow at different speeds. You have guys who mentally develop at different speeds. So if you don't continue to nourish that, and I mean continue to nurture, you know, what you have, if you could get to the 9th grade and say, hey, I'm the best player in the city, but other guys will outwork you. Other guys are going to hit growth spurts. Other guys are going to get stronger, more athletic. You know, sometimes you got a kid that's, I've seen it a lot of times, you got a kid that's 6'2" in the 9th grade and doesn't grow again. And he's been a power forward in middle school, and now he has to be a point guard and didn't develop his game, and now, you know, who remembers his name? So it's just a testament to the commitment and dedication that these boys have to the game because everything that we put them through, you know, sometimes we get a little pushback because some of them come from places where they're not used to working hard, but at East, you know, it's a tradition of just hard work. Like I tell everybody, man, some dogs that come out of East High School. Come through that program. I mean, if you go do your research, man, the guys that come through that program, they work hard. Coach Mosby and Coach Manning, they set a standard back in the day that you were going to be disciplined, you were going to be in shape. You know, if you didn't come out of East a basketball player, you were going to come out of East ready to go somewhere and work hard and you know, just put your ear to the ground and just do what you had to do because they discipline you. That was one thing that this program was built off of. And these guys come in and they've been very receptive to that. And they learned a lot and become better basketball players for it.
Thank you. Good answer, Coach. My next question, I have a couple of questions, but the next one is for the principal, Dr. Hilliard. Now, you know, we've been in this situation before where you're sitting at a table, but it was a goal football. Now you got another goal basketball. How does it feel to be in a position to be a principal of a school, a public school, let me make sure I say that, a public school, and to have all these championships under your belt?
Well, one of the statements that I made before, and I'll make that statement again, is that it's truly an exciting time to be a Mustang. And so that's certainly a fact for me. But my role in all of this is to support the coaches as well as to support the teams. I am quite proud of the athletic program at East because it just has so many young people that are dedicated, they're disciplined, but most important of all, they're scholars. So not only do they display class and leadership on the courts or on the fields, they also add so much value to our school and to our student body. So I'm just quite proud of them. They always see me around. I'm at every game, and it's always very emotional for me because these are children that not only do you serve in a leadership capacity, but you also parent them. So it's just really exciting to just be a part of their lives, and hopefully, you know, they'll remember me someday soon when they get to be much bigger and a whole lot better than they are now. So I just appreciate what they've added to my life and to my leadership.
Okay. Next question is kind of a personal question for me because I posted something on Facebook regarding LeVar Ball and his family. And my statement was, before the Balls, I personally knew the Lawsons. And for years, I've seen them work. So my next question is for Chandler. As much work as you put in and your brothers and family put in, when you see the situation of LeVar Ball and all of that stuff unfold on TV, how do you look at that, knowing how hard you all worked? And, you know, not saying that y'all want that. I know your family's not big on that attention, but y'all seem like y'all work and let other people talk instead of work and telling everybody what you do. How does that feel?
Well, I feel that if my dad did what he did, it's like we'll have a lot of attention on us too, but he just tell us just stay home and just keep everything inside as a family and just whoever gonna talk, just let them talk. He ain't gonna say nothing about who better and all this, because everyone is great, and then just if you just keep working at it, and hard work's gonna pay off.
Thank you. Last question, Coach. It seemed like you all, like you said, y'all instill discipline, but playing, y'all represent them as a public school, and y'all a team from a public school system. But it seemed like a lot of teams out there are private schools, academies, or different types of schools. How do you see public school basketball, moving forward? Do you think some players are going to want to leave, go to private schools, go to other academies, lead a city, or do you think Memphis, we building on something great right now?
Well, it's hard to say because I'm one of those type of guys that really I have the racehorse syndrome, basically. We have those blinders on at East. So when we're in the race, we don't see who next to us. We don't see who behind us. All we see is everything in front of us. So we pretty much have that tunnel vision where we focus on our program, and we're trying to make this like Penny did an interview with the newspaper, NBA mindset. We're trying to make these guys have a professional mindset when they approach the game, because a lot of kids take this talent and ability that they have for granted, and they squander it a lot of times and don't really nurture it the way that they should, put the time into it, especially nowadays having so many distractions. The boys, soon as practice over, they can jump on social media, or they could, get on YouTube, listen. I remember I was joking with them the other day, telling them I remember when you used to have to wait to get music. Like now they can just go YouTube, whatever song, and it's right there at their fingertips. They can find whatever, any source of entertainment they want. They can find it all day, every day. So, we try to preach that NBA mindset of make sure you put your work in before you, go do whatever else to, entertain yourself, however you spend your day. Make sure you, part of your life, they say ball is life, and we hold them to that, basically. Everybody, it's easy to say it, but if ball is life, then ball really needs to be life. Of course, school books and family comes along with that, but we just tell them, man, this work, you have to put this work in, and that's why you see us having the success that we have as a public school, because of the work we put in, because of the dedication. These boys really are starting to understand. Like I said, it's a little pushback. You're always going to get that from kids. But most of these kids have a great support system at home who supports us as a coaching staff as well. And so everything that we try to push them to do and guide them to do, their parents are 100% behind it. So when you got good parents in the program who are behind the kids and want to see their kids succeed as well as much as the coaching staff wants to see them succeed, then we have parents that's dropping their kids off, making sure that they get work in before practice, and then get that same work in after practice to make sure that these guys maximize on the potential that they have. So, if other schools are doing that in public school, then I think the public school is going to be looking pretty good in the near future. But that's what we do over here.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Dr. Hilliard one question on that. How does that philosophy Coach Jackson has talked about, of the hard work, the discipline, getting the most out of you, how does that transcend, do you think, from athletics to academics?
Well, I think that one of the ways is that you just set expectations, and at East we do set those expectations really high. Last year, one of the things that was very different is that I insisted that practice times be moved back. And so no practice starts at East before 3:30, because I wanted coaches and they wanted children who were committed, first of all, to academics, and to be very clear about no one comes to East to play athletics, but everyone comes there to be a part of the academic program. So really just instilling a mindset, setting expectations, letting players know this is what you have to do in order to be eligible to play basketball, because there are certain requirements that one must have first and foremost. And so just getting that type of buy-in from the faculty, from the staff, as well as the commitment from the team. And also just the direction that our district is moving in. I often tell people that no matter what type of child you have, our district has programs that are set out to serve them and to support them. So we have, students at our school who are on the very, very high end, And we also have those that are striving to become more competent and more proficient. And so just really setting standards and talking about it, talking about the expectations. The students know how I am. They've been with me for some time now, making sure that your attendance goals are met. They know I'm going to pull their coat strings on something because I'm always watching. And so just making sure that they are aware that someone truly cares about your academic life, more importantly than your athletic life. That's really, really important. We want 100% of our students to graduate from this team and go on to different post-secondary opportunities.
Thank you, East Mustangs. That concludes our press conference. Thank you for joining us. Again, I'm India Weaver, the athletic manager for Shelby County Schools. Good afternoon.
Oh,